All right, now we get to Trey Lance. Let's start with the Raider game because, again, I didn't get to give my thoughts on Trey Lance. It was a lot of what I'm watching him now, and I do this with Brock Purdy as well. I have an evaluation of guys when they're coming out of college. Okay, I didn't have one of Brock Purdy because I didn't watch somebody that was going to be drafted late or undrafted. But I have this evaluation, and I want to see like, okay, like what do they work around? What things are they doing better now? Et cetera. Like, what does it look like? What's the projection of him? Like, where is he headed? So I know everybody wants to hang on to every single throw of all these guys. I'm not going to hang on to every single throw. For me, it's just more so about where is he at? What is he doing? Is he doing things that Kyle wants him to do? And I look at it from that standpoint with all the guys. And I have an idea what Kyle wants. All right. He kind of wants his cake and wants to eat it too, but essentially, if you are Kirk Cousins, he's fine with that. I think that's why he might like Sam Darnold a lot, because he actually gives you a little bit more than Kirk, but he just hasn't been as good as Kirk. But can he be as good as Kirk with me? I think that's what Kyle's thinking. All right, but Trey Lance. I watched him in the Raiders game, and it was clear early on. I don't know if scatterbrain is the right word to use, but things were moving a little fast for him. All right, first play of the game, I see him about to throw the hitch to the outside, and the corner jumped it. The corner jumped the hitch, and I'm like, good job not throwing, but ultimately he got sacked. All right, maybe could have came left and threw it right now, but he tried to come back to the middle. That was jump, so he took a sack. Throws a quick out, complete. Then he comes back and he gets sacked again, where it looked like he didn't trust his tight end. I want to say it was Ross Dwelly on like a little stop route. All right, and I was like, what, Ross, just get into your route and then throw it. But Trey, you got to throw it regardless, because you just got to let it go. All right, and if it hits him in the back of the helmet, like that's on him. Like, get in your fucking route. All right, but I saw a lot of that where it was just like unsure. Now, I'll make an excuse for him. Usually I don't make excuses for him. I might talk about why I think Trey does certain things and whatnot. Right? Like why did he do this, or why did he not do that? Or oh man, like this is a tough situation for Trey because of XYZ or whatever. Man, it just needs reps, whatever. But this would be the first time I make like a legit excuse for him. With some of the guys he's throwing to, how consistently has he thrown to those guys in practice to where he understands the timing of that guy getting in and out of a route or break, right? Like that is something when it comes to like, I have to throw with anticipation and timing. Like, how comfortable am I doing it with this guy? This is not Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams where Aaron Rodgers can throw to Devontae Adams blind. All right. But it does have a lot to do with how comfortable am I doing it. And maybe he's just not. And that's what it looked like. It looked like he wasn't comfortable for whatever reason. But then he made some throws, and it's like, okay, that's good. Nice deep in breaking route to Conley, hit him on another one, started to get in a little rhythm, had a weird touchdown that wasn't an interception touchdown, whatever it was. All right, but I just walked away thinking that was definitely a mixed bag of some things that I really liked from Trey and some things that I felt like were ugly. And my biggest thing was, what does it look like heading into the Broncos game, right? So I'm not going to judge them. I saw people crushing them. And again, I wasn't on social media really last week. In the sense of tweeting and all that. I didn't do any podcast at all, not even Locked On 49ers. Peacock held it down for me. But I'm seeing social media, and they are crushing Trey. And I'm like, okay, I know that it was a weird game for him, and you're still seeing some of that clunkiness offensively. But I didn't think it was to the extent of some of the things I heard. Like, this guy just can't play in the NFL. He's not an NFL quarterback. When his mom raised him for him, the pussy, he couldn't play. Whatever they were saying, I was like, what? Like, I'm not seeing that. I am seeing the guy that just, bro, you got to settle down and let it rip. All right. Now, watch him against the Broncos. And I think early on, he was kind of letting it rip a little too much, right? Almost threw a pick over the middle on these sit-down routes. Not pulling the trigger on this crossing route, kind of rolling out and then throwing a weird ball. All right. And I'm like, Trey, this is not ideal. Now, there were a couple of things that did not work in his favor. There was some, he had a nice run, the designed run, picked up 10, 12 yards, whatever it was, call back for holding. Things like that can kind of throw you out of a rhythm. All right. But early on, I was just like, interception, right? The weird interception on the tipped screen. Great play by D lineman, but okay, you shouldn't throw a pick to him. All right. But I'm watching, I'm like, Trey Lance is about to end up on the loser side of things for me. And then it started to click. And he's just letting it rip. And he's completing passes. And he rolls to the left and he does a little sidearm and Tay Martin drops it. And then there was a holding penalty anyways, but then he's throwing darts and he's throwing slants and the cleats in the ground, slant route, boom, his guy in stride. Then Ronnie Bell, curl route, throws with anticipation. And okay, then I'm going to throw it. And I was like, Trey, why can't you be that all the time? Because if you're that all the time, and I hear people, well, it's against future plumbers. Again, the gap is not nearly as wide as people think from a talent perspective with some of these guys that are on the field right now. All right. Some of it's consistency. Okay. There was a blown coverage on the touchdown. It looked like one guy came down. Maybe he should have carried it. But good job by Trey looking off to safety this way and then throwing the seam route backside to the right for a touchdown. That was good stuff by Trey. Love to see it. And that ball got tipped too. Which I didn't even notice at first. All right, but touchdown to Latu. Good job, Latu. All right, but when I watch Trey, like some of the things he started to do, and we see this a lot with him, it's like the more he starts to get comfortable, the more he just starts to like let it rip. And I don't know if it's the pressure of the circumstances. I don't know if it's this, maybe he's just, I don't know, never going to be a consistent quarterback in the league, which would essentially be somebody that's just not good. But what we saw late in that game with just the confidence in him just letting it rip and the tight window throws and that throw that's need where like the only place you could put the ball, when he starts to do those things, like keep doing that. Because if you're doing that, there's nobody on this 49ers roster that could touch you. Like if you're able to do that and then utilize your legs within the game as well. But he just hasn't been that guy consistently for whatever reason. And I'm pretty sure that probably drives Kyle crazy. And I'm pretty sure that's why he potentially might be the third string quarterback. All right, I know people don't want to hear it, but it's realistic. But why? Because we need you to be that more often. Now, for him to be that more often, it might just take more reps because it is very clear. The more he gets settled in, the more he starts to kind of get in the groove. And it feels like that's every game. Whereas like every game it's, the more I'm comfortable with I might throw this and this looks weird early on, then I start getting in the rhythm and I'm throwing these balls. I'm throwing darts all over the place. But it is not consistent. And if it's not, Kyle ain't having it. So he is a winner in the sense of how he finished that game. And I thought that was tremendous. I think it was a big confidence boost for him. But I would assume Kyle doesn't want to see the lows mixed in with that. So we saw the highs. We saw the ability. We know he can sling it. The guy that you were throughout that entire fourth quarter, pretty much, be that guy all the time, Trey. And if you're that guy all the time, they can't touch you. But the fact that you're not that guy all the time is the reason why Kyle would definitely prefer Brock over you, and might prefer Sam Darnold over you because of that. I would guess right now, he just knows more about what he's going to get from Sam Darnold than he does Trey Lance. But it's because of what you're putting on film. So be the guy that you were late, sling it, play with anticipation, throwing, making all the throws, all the stuff, and these other guys can't touch you. We just don't know if you're going to be that guy from throw to throw. And that's the issue. That's the issue. So again, a lot of this is about trying to figure out, because we got a limited sample size on Trey from college, NFL didn't throw a lot of passes, all that, right? What are you going to be consistently? You're a smart kid. You're a hard worker. You have all the ability in the world. Be more consistent. And if you're that, they can't touch you. I don't see bust. I don't see a guy that can't play at the NFL level. I see a guy that just, the more he's throwing the ball around, he just gets better. So it might just be a reps thing. But time is ticking. And you got Brock Purdy. You know what? You got Sam Darnold. He's letting it rip. So I love what I saw from him late in that game. Be that guy all the time. And we probably wouldn't be having this conversation.